Hey, Stoney here with another game of Mechabellum. And in this game, you're going to see some of the very powerful Spider-Man play from the Tarantula. So let's jump right into it. At the bottom here, I am playing as a quick supply specialist. And because you're a quick supply, now, like in the old days, you go full sledge. But nowadays, when you have the Tarantula, you can go chaffless for Tarantula. And this could be very fun because the tarantulas themselves are extremely tanky. And they're also pretty good chaff clears themselves. So in round one, this could be a very powerful position. My opponent Toyo is playing as a supply specialist, and he is going to go aggro on one side of the board. And my positioning is quite unfortunate because the marksman immediately locks on both of my tarantulas, and they're able to bring them down very quickly. And two of my units are just slowly walking towards his tower, not doing anything at all. So not a great start for me. Alright, he's gonna get tower, and those crawlers are gonna crawl to the other side, possibly getting tower again before my tarantula can fire. And that's gonna be a round for my opponent. Alright, round two, subsidized marksman is picked by both of us. I think that makes sense because we already started with marksman and we intend to add more just because how tanky the tarantulas actually are. Right away, I pick Spider-Man. When you have units like this so close to each other, the Spider-Man actually work pretty well. Spider-Man's work, they become less effective the further you are from the opponent, because then they can start shooting at it at maximum range. But when you're this close, and when they throw the Spider-Man, they actually throw them around here, this is a real opportunity for you to blow some stuff up. I continue to add on the marksman. I didn't really have the money to go for an extra group of chaff. So I've just decided, hey, let's take the technology, let's see how far it takes us, and let's worry about chaff on the next turn. Alright, we got another round of Spider-Man here. This one is going to get the Tarantula, it's going to get the other Tarantula. Ooh. Now, unfortunately, my opponent did flank me on the side here, and he did get tower. Now, something that I need to prepare for is that my opponent also runs assault mode on their marksman, which means that any time he can turn these marksmen into extremely tanky, extremely agile assault units. I haven't really tested the balance between Spider-Man versus assault marksman. I don't think they splash both mines at the same time if it's being thrown at this range. Of course, when it's thrown a lot further, the mines tend to converge as they run towards a single unit. But when you're at this range, I think the mines actually are far apart enough to dodge the splash. Alright, round 3, we got a few interesting cards. Underground Threat was picked by me. Intensive Training is also a very good card. Extended Range Vulcan, maybe. I think there is a good chance that you can pivot, but right now we both have pretty decent chaff clear, so that seems like a pretty hard pivot. Okay, so my opponent did decide to go with the Vulcan, and that's okay. Alright, so we have Underground, which is going to go right there in the middle. I added 2 more tarantulas in the back line to cover any sort of funny business with his underground potentially. This one here is going to have spider mines, and that's going to run towards this marksman. And finally, I have some money to put down some chaff, so I put on a squad of fans just to tank that initial volley from this level 2 marksman. Alright, my crawlers are doing crawler things to get into the tower. We have the debuff. Crawlers are also running towards the marksman. And the Spider-Man. I think that Spider-Man killed more of his own brethren than the enemy. Alright, let's slow this down. Let's take a look here. Unit drop, we got Wasps. And we got Anti-Wasp in the form of Typhoon. Level 5 Rhino is a great unit to sell. I decided to go with Wasp because I didn't want to risk any sort of funny business here in the corner. If he decided to put any sort of chaff in front of it, then the Wasp could serve as a pretty decent counter. Also, Wasp here, actually, you know what? I think at the time, what I was really thinking is initially, I wanted to have the Wasp just to run forward and start dealing damage and participate in the battle, drawing fire from this marksman. But I changed my mind in the last minute, wanting to have Wasp in the corner and serve as late arriving chaff. Because now I have the money to put down 3 squads of Fangs. My opponent started to use his extended Vulcan card, so now he's got big Vulcan with range, and they are great at clearing out chaff. They're also pretty good against my Spider-Mine. But the problem with extended range Vulcan, though, is that even if they have that enhanced attack, once they log on to the Tarantula, it's still going to take them at least 10 seconds, right? So they do, what, 1400 damage per second. Tarantula is 16,000. So it's going to be more than 10 seconds. And in that 10 seconds, if I can bring that Vulcan down while it's locked onto the Tarantula, I'm going to be in a very good spot. Alright, Wasping Wasp things, getting in there, starting to do the damage. And here, you can see this Vulcan is locked onto this Tarantula. And now these Spider-Mines are able to get close enough to the Vulcan and actually deal damage. Now, unfortunately though, I don't believe I can win this round just because of these 3 snipers here. But at the very least, I should be able to bring down this Vulcan. Perfect. Alright, not the best round. I wonder if I can still get... No. Yes. Yes, I can. Alright. We got Spider Mines. Yeah, so this is probably the best outcome with the extended range Vulcan on the board. I took Smoke Bomb. My opponent took Tech Specialist. Smoke Bomb works great when you have a firing line like this. Tech Specialist, I think he wants to put some tech on the marksman. Alright, on my side of the board, I need to continue to chaff up, but also I need to have an answer against these big Vulcans. Right now, my Tarantula, they're doing okay in terms of tanking, but they're not dealing enough damage. And also, I want to make sure that I am staying as far away from these Vulcans as I possibly can, and far away from these marksmen as I possibly can. So I took range on the Tarantula, and added a whole bunch of level 2 marksmen. Level 2 marksman's purpose really is just to deal with the Vulcan, where the Tarantula, with range, is able to clear the chaff and join fire, late fire, from the Vulcan. And as you can see, it really changed the game. Alright, got my opponent on the ropes here. Overlord is pretty good. But I already have so many marksmen, so you're not really going to get the benefit out of that. I've decided to take the Sledgehammer and sell it to get Sledge Cash. My opponent decided to take Arclight with range. So Arclight with range is a bit strange. If you look at his board, he's got 3 units that are dealing with chaff clear. 2 of which are specialists. These Vulcan, they're specialists in dealing with chaff clear. And out of the 3 units, 2 of them's already got tech. So it's a bit of a strange thing. Usually if you want to maximize unit efficiency, you want to just have one type of unit or as few type of units as you possibly can get away with to deal with a specific problem. In this case, my opponent is using a lot of variety, which means in order to get them strong enough, they'll have to buy multiple tech. So I don't believe the Arclights is the correct decision here. Maybe he just wants to get rid of my frontal chaff a little bit sooner and have a better time dealing with my Spider Mines. He also added 2 packs of Mustangs, also with the range effect. So right now he's got a lot of chaff clear and not enough DPS. My thought is that he's probably a little terrified of the Spider Mine at this point. He understands that once the Vulcan is locked onto one of the Tarantulas, he would not be able to participate in the clearing of the Spider Mines. Therefore, he needed that additional help. If you want to clear Spider Mines, I really don't think you should get range on the Arclights, because as you saw earlier with this middle Arclight, He wasted most of his firepower directly on this shield bubble. Alright. And with that, I believe this is game. And it is. So, a great game played by my opponent. I think at the end here, he was just a little bit too terrified and decided to overreact to my spider mines. But I hope this is a great game to showcase the power of the spider mines. Yes, they're kind of finicky, they cause a lot of chaos, but when you're here in the front with the strong backline support, these spider mines can actually do a whole ton of damage to your opponent. Well, I hope you enjoyed this game, and I will see you on the next one.
Prepare your tactics. Mechabellum's calling. Deploy your fortress. The battlefield's alive with swarms.